A nice effort. You know, offensively, when you have 35 baskets and 25 of them assisted, you're playing the game the right way. You know, we're creating avenues and driving lanes, and then we're moving the ball. And some of the shots we missed were wide open. You know, they made a strategic decision to leave the corner open on ball screens and let our four men shoot, and we didn't shoot that great. But then we have the versatility to say, okay, Jordan Shackle, you're the four, you go down to that corner, and then it changes things. So, you know, we can make adjustments to try to put people in better positions to score, but overall, offensively, we shared the ball as well as we have all year. Defensively, I told him before the game, like, we're the fifth leading rebounding team in the country, and I said, you know, are those numbers real or fake? There's only 2 games into the season. So we'll see what our real identity is as we get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games into the season. What kind of rebounding team are we? And we ended up out-rebounding them for the game, which pleased me. You know, obviously it hasn't been by the numbers that we have been out-rebounding people, but I wanted in their mind that rebound is important to what we do. So I challenged them in that way to say, is that number real? Are we that good a rebounding team? And I thought we rebounded pretty good today. They're tough to guard. Dan's a good coach. He runs a lot of set plays, and he puts you in a lot of tough positions. And the best thing we're doing defensively that has improved from over the last couple of years is we're communicating at a higher level. So I think it was Rasheed Wallace, Kevin Garnett, they said the sixth defender is communication. If you talk at a high level, it's like having a sixth defender. And so we're talking at a high level. So if we make mistakes, we're able to cover for one another because we're talking really well at the defensive end and communicating at a high level.
What do you make of a win like this where you're playing a team, they basically only have 6 guys, but they're pretty talented, and they're only down 4 the other night against Illinois, but they also lost to a D2 team. How do you sort of... Yeah,
it's hard on Dan. His numbers are down right now. He'll have reinforcements coming at the break. He has a couple guys that are getting eligible at the break, and they have to survive like all teams do. It's a long season. And so he's like all of us. If you lose a couple non-conference games, you say, well, it's going to be harder to get an at-large bid. But then you sit there and go, we got a pretty good team, and when we get all our pieces, we can win the WAC conference and go to the NCAA tournament. So I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year if you looked up and Grand Canyon's competing to put themselves in the NCAA tournament. So he's a good coach. They've got good talent, and when they get all their pieces, they're going to be really hard to play against. With that being said, we pressed all game because we knew they only had 6 players. And so it's a cumulative effect. We may not get a lot of turnovers, but we're making them play 94 feet, and that point guard's got to bring it up against pressure all game. And they don't turn it over a lot, but that wears on you after a while, and that's what we wanted to do.
We were just talking about this. Yanni didn't have a great game against BYU. Just, you know, you look at the stat sheet, he's got something in every single category. Is that kind of what he brings?
Yeah, and I'm sure he's frustrated. He's missing a lot of chippies around the basket that he's going to make because he makes them in practice. You know, if it was a case where I watched practice every day and he was missing all those shots, I'd be, well, he just can't finish. But he makes them all in practice. So he just got to transition from what he's doing in practice and put him in the game. But he plays a smart game. He's a fifth-year senior, and he plays with intelligence. And he's physically strong and athletic and very fortunate to have him on the team and in the program.
You talk about making sure the guys were locked in on this game. How satisfying is it to see them come out and play the way they did and handle business?
Yeah, it was very satisfying. I mean, obviously, we knew that we'd lost, you know, since we've been here, Coach Fisher and I, we'd lost twice to Grand Canyon in both important, critical games. You know, at the time, it doesn't seem that way, but when the season finishes up, you have that loss on your record, and we knew it hurt us. And so we wanted to come out and play at a high level because we knew they were a very good opponent, and I thought the kids respected them. They knew they were good, and even at halftime, I told them I watched the Illinois tape. They were 16 ahead. Illinois was 16 ahead, and I looked up at 4-minute mark, and it's a 4-point game. So we knew they had a run in them, and they put a little run in the second half, but we kind of withstood it and kind of maintained it for a while, then built the lead back.
You called a timeout there when they put their run together and put KJ and Yanni, your 2 fifth-year seniors, back in the game and ran a lob play. Just talk about that play and what did you see there? What did you want there?
Yeah, I mean, we've been running that play. We got a dunk for, I think, Nate in the first half on it. In the second half, we got one for Yanni, and we just change up who the passer is going to be. You know, this particular time we ran KJ up there. We've been running Jordan and Matt up there and give them a little different look by moving pieces on the floor around and And KJ made a great pass to Yanni at the rim, and it kind of stemmed the tide. And a dunk always is a little extra motivating for the crowd and for the team. And so we got a dunk and kind of put an end to the run at that point.
It's nice to have fifth-year seniors who understand that situation and understand the importance of that possession.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they executed. All they have to do is do what they show us in practice. Don't do anything other than what you've shown us in practice, because that's good enough. And so they're playing now better like they've shown us in practice. The ball's moving easier. And like Coach Acker said, I don't know if it was halftime, he felt like we made a step forward because the players are calling more stuff. That's better. They're coming down and calling stuff out of the break and stuff out of our secondary break offense. They're calling the options. So that means they're growing in their knowledge of it, and they're taking ownership, and that takes a lot of responsibility off a head coach. If the team's running it, it's better sometimes. So they don't have to look to me all the time. They're calling stuff, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
Matt's technical.
Yeah, Matt. It's an emphasis. It's talking. It's celebrating. It's taunting an opponent. And obviously the ref said, "You know why you got the technical?" I said, "Absolutely." So yeah. So I told Matt, "Don't do it again." So there's emotion in the game. And I think Jordan had emotion, and he said, "Give me that ball," and he yelled it out, but he didn't yell it at one of them or yell it in a manner where it was directed at a particular player. He might have got one. So emotion's part of the game. I want it played emotionally, but we have to play smart.
It appeared that Matt yelled something at Dan Marley. Is that what the officials told you?
I thought he might have yelled something at a player, but I didn't know he yelled something at Dan. I know Dan wasn't very happy. I wouldn't be either. So I can understand that.
3 games in with the new three-point line, is there any difference in your game or how the team has responded with the new line, or does it really matter at all?
No. The guards are shooting it from that distance with no problem. Malachi, KJ, Matt, Jordan, Adam shot 2 in today. Keshad's made a couple. But the bigs are getting a lot of corner threes, and so that's a little bit different in the corner than it is up top. So we have to continue to shoot it at a high level like we are, and then we'll be hard to guard.
I know you were probably preparing for this game, but did the USD result last night against Fresno State catch your attention and your players' attention, knowing you play them next?
Yeah. Obviously, that's a big-time win for Sam and USD to beat Justin. And Justin's a really good coach, and Justin's kind of where we were last year. He's got a young team, a lot of new pieces that are figuring it out. So the Fresno we'll see come conference is going to be a lot different than the one that played at USD. But I was happy for Sam, and I felt bad for Justin, but neither one affects me at all. I'm trying to go in there and get a win next Wednesday with the Aztecs, and so it'll be a raucous environment, and we will be up for the task, I hope.
Shackle and Flynn did a lot of your scoring the first 2 games. They were relatively quiet. At least Flynn warmed up in the end. But to have them have a quiet night and you guys still cruise the way you did, what does that say about what you guys have, your offensive potential, I guess?
Yeah, I told him after the game, just everybody's going to have a different night on this team. We've got a lot of talent. So I told him, if it wasn't your night tonight, just go to work and it will be the next night. And Jordan only played 6.5 minutes the first half. He got 2 fouls, and I didn't want to put him in there and risk him getting a 3rd foul in what I thought could be a close game. But we were able to maintain the lead, and then when he did play, all we were doing at that point was trying to build and maintain on a lead. And so, he didn't get a lot of opportunity to shoot. But what happens is that's where we got one of the pick-and-roll dunks, because Jordan was in the corner. And they've been helping out of the corner all game. And we ran a pick-and-roll, rolled down the lane, bounced past, dunk, because all game they've been helping out of that corner, but they can't help off Jordan. So even if he doesn't make a shot, he's adding value by stretching the defense. And that's what I thought would happen with his really hot shooting right now, is he's taking help away from the defensive end because they're paying attention to him.
Is that the difference between maybe this Aztec team and the last few you've had that struggled to score, that you don't even need your front line? Your 2 leading scorers, didn't take a shot in the first, or didn't have a point in the first 13 minutes of the game, and you were still scoring it at will.
Yeah, like I said, we got a lot of pieces, and it depends on what the matchup is. And, they're guarding one guy super hard. That means someone else might be open. And the good thing is we don't have a lot of guys forcing a lot of shots. The 25 assists on 35 baskets is a huge number. If we play with those kind of assists all year, and then I think we only had 7 turnovers. So high assists and low turnovers is always good offense. And so the challenge is, can we maintain that level of play against different defenses? Because everyone guards is different. It's what we get comfortable, what rhythm we find. If you find something that works, you continue to run it until they stop it. And so we got comfortable with a couple of 2 or 3 plays and ran them for most of the game.